What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Is that it? The national mileage average is typically around 13,000 or 12,000 miles per year. But this one says that, according to their studies, the average person drives around 13,500 miles, right? So since this is a 2004, we're in 2023 minus, so it's a 19-year-old vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 19-year-old vehicle, and it only has 167,000 miles. So you divide that by 19, but because of 19 years, so it means that it was only driven for 8,800 miles per year. So way under, the 3,500. 1,800. So 4,700 miles less on average per year. And I think that this car had just a few owners, and then most recently it was owned by what I would assume an older person, because there was a lot of stickers on there, and one of them was a AAA sticker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually a very good insurance company. But yeah, it's had 3 owners in its entire life. So I would say that it's a pretty
So when
reliable.
somebody asks about mileage, or they start knocking it because they hear this high number, it's
Yeah,
you wouldn't necessarily, obviously after the inspection and all that, you wouldn't necessarily consider it the biggest factor. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Well, if you want to consider like a high mileage vehicle, right now we on the lot we have a
200.
yeah, what year is it? Watch, I forget. Let me see. It's a 2014. So again, a 9-year-old vehicle that has 220,000 miles. So you divide that by 9. That one was driven, obviously, a lot.
Yeah.
So about 10,000 more miles on average it was driven. So you weigh your options, right? You weigh the fact that you have a 19-year-old vehicle that was driven, 4,000 miles less, almost 5,000 miles less per year, versus that 9-year-old vehicle that was driven 10,000 miles more. For example, like on the 2004, I picked it up because, first of all, it's a Toyota,
Mm-hmm.
right? Toyotas will last forever if you take care of them, if you give them the regular maintenance that needs to be done, which is the regular oil changes and it's regular maintenance with the vehicle. Versus this other one that I did buy. I bought it because the interior was super clean, and then also looking at the vehicle history report, it shows that it was owned by 2 people, I believe it was. So this tells you that they're probably using it to commute long distances, which is highway miles versus city miles.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of factors that you have to take into consideration.
What's the difference between city miles and highway miles? Because I'm not
Start,
educated.
stop. It takes a toll on an engine, especially if you don't maintain it well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they tell you every 3,000 miles or 3 months, because if you don't, if you go an extra 2,000 miles, it might not do anything to your car, but eventually over time that's going to build up, and that's why it's recommended that you visit or you go and get your oil changed, or do its regular maintenance, whether it's getting a new serpentine belt or just getting a complete checkup which we can do here at Tucson Car and Truck Unlimited, by the way. But yeah, it just depends. You know, when we go to the auction and look at these cars, we're paying attention. We're opening the hood. We're listening for, you know, knocks, noises, engine noises. We're looking at the oil density, or if it's, you know, really black, but there's no knocks, it just probably means that they haven't changed it. But, you know, used cars is a risk anyway. It's just when we buy, our first inspection, like I said, is we look at the vehicle, go under the hood, we look under to see if there's any oil leaks and stuff like that. Once it gets here, it goes through a second inspection, which is done at the mechanic shop, and then they fix, for example, what they found on this 04, that it needed a new wheel bearing because it was making noise on one of the, I think it was the passenger side. So with that, we ultimately ended up getting a what is called the CV half shaft, which is the CV joint, which is basically the thing that controls your direction, and the spindle and all that stuff, you know, for your wheel. And then I think the only thing was the oil change. So sometimes you can get really lucky and, you know, pass on these vehicles, and you get, you know, a happy customer in the end because they're getting a 19-year-old vehicle that was only driven for, you know, 8,000 miles per year.
Okay, yo, so it's cameraman Dev actually looking for the vehicle, the 04 Camry we were just talking about. And right now I was asking him that within the purchase of the vehicle after the total, is that including with that interest rate loan from the bank?
So basically, in regards to your loan that you're trying to get, you're gonna ask the bank to borrow $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Traditionally, if there was no interest to be paid, then you just make regular payments, you know, of whatever the bank tells you to make until you pay off, you know, $5,000. But because there's interest on this particular one, they would ask you to pay back in interest $1,107.40. Okay, so your payment will be $170 a month, right? Out of that $170, a big portion of that, probably within the first year or two, it's gonna probably be around $100 that you pay back towards the interest, and then the rest will go towards the actual $5,000, right? So what you want to do is, whenever you get a chance, is pay more into the principal balance, because there's two balances. You have your interest, and then you have your principal balance. Your principal balance is the $5,000, right? So like I was saying, if your payment is $170, the big majority for the first 2 years of the loan, you're paying towards interest, and then the other part that's left, the $70, will go into your $5,000. So what you want to do is, if you can, over time, is make an additional payment of either, you know, $20 to $50 extra, or you can break your payment in half. So break 170 in half and make your payments every 2 weeks. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna trick the system. It's basically stopping your interest from accumulating on a daily basis. So it's a really neat trick. We were talking about this on the last customer that you've seen here, how you can split your payments in half, and you know, you can trick the system and pay off your loans quicker and sooner. Also, adding an extra either 20 bucks or 50 bucks whenever you have the chance, so that you can pay these loans off sooner than later. Because if you go the full term, then you will have to pay, and there's also no prepayment penalties. So that means that if you have a 3-year loan and you pay it off in 2 years, then you're done. Alright, so now that we figured out your budget, and I'm not going to show it, but we'll show this side here. We know that basically with your job and then what you would get from working here, that your payment plus your insurance is covered. Alright, so what I want you to do is, if you want to look down here, sorry for my chicken scratch, but I'm trying to write fast. So your payment would be around $169. I want you to break that up by, or divide it by 2, so it comes out to $84.82, right? So if you were to sign today, on May 9th, 30 days from today would be June 8th. On June 8th, you would make your first payment, which is the $169 in full. All right, after that, so June 8th falls on a Thursday. After that, you're gonna go into a 2-week schedule. Okay, so on the 28th, you're gonna make half of your payment, which was $84.82. And then before your next payment is due on July 6th, you're gonna make the other half. All right, a $100 payment instead of an $84 payment, that's only gonna benefit you because, like I said, it's a simple interest loan and it accumulates interest daily. So in a 30-day period, the interest will accumulate to a certain amount, whatever amount that is, because of percentages. I don't know what it is, but it's going to accumulate. By breaking it up every 2 weeks and making the payment, you're tricking the system. Even though it's half a payment, you're tricking the system to basically think that it's received the payment. It doesn't matter. It's going to stop. Your interest is going to stop on that day. And then once you make the second part of your payment, then that extra money will go into your principal balance. Remember, interest, principal balance. So it's a neat little trick to keep doing. And once you do this, because your loan would be for 3 years, you can actually pay this off a 1.5 years earlier. So we went over the numbers. That's what you're financing. So your signature will go there. This is for the insurance, so you're going to provide that. This will let me act on your behalf to do the plates for you, so you're going to get them in the mail. This is the actual title and registration application. It has Tucson Federal Credit Union information right here, and then you as the owner. Your signature goes down there. This talks about having an implied warranty. That just basically means it's covered by the dealership for the first 15 days or 500 miles. In your case, for as long as you want it to be covered. So right there. This is an odometer disclosure statement. Just talks about the mileage that the vehicle currently has. Signature goes there. And then we got cash for your down payment, so your signature right there. And then this one, I'm going to fill it out right now, but I'll just need your signature if you can sign it right there. It's basically the same thing. It's an odometer disclosure statement, and the miles go right here. It goes with the title and registration application. Cool. Hey guys, thanks again for watching our channel. We're bringing a lot of content like we promised, so just make sure that you click a follow, share, help us get some exposure out there for this channel. Appreciate it. Thank you.